Hello everyone and welcome back to another The First Descendant video. Today we will talk about how to build Hailey, the new Descendant, right in all missions. I'm not going to talk about one-shot build here because the reality is Hailey can do millions of damage, but you can't perfectly one-shot all bosses in the game just like what others are claiming. The truth is you can solo farm hard mode bosses, namely the Executioner, the Devourer, and then the Pyromaniac. When I say solo farm, you can down these hard mode bosses in less than 10 seconds, and if you are leveling your Descendants right now in the hard mode Infiltration and Magister Lab, then you will most likely have tons of amorphous materials which you can use to farm either Energy Activator or Crystallization Catalyst in the hard mode Executioner with the help of the new Descendant Hailey. In the case of Dead Bride, Hailey's abilities can still hit millions of damage, but it would take a few minutes to farm this hard mode bosses. The same goes with Swamp Walker, as it will enter Rage phase and you can't down it just like the other 3 solo bosses. Now, in the case of public intercept boss battles, don't expect your sniper to do tons of damage, but I will show you a capable Hailey build that can make you the main DPS in your team. But before we proceed to these builds, I would like to discuss first each of this Descendant's abilities. Among all 4 abilities, the first ability called Cryo Rounds is my least used skill on this new Descendant. Hailey focuses more on long-range battles, and in fact, the further you are from your target, the more damage you deal to the weak points of enemies. This is a good mob for clearing a small group of mobs, but like I have said, I don't usually use it. Now, her second ability is the best damage dealing ability on her kit. In fact, it can deal 20 million or more damage against solo hard mode bosses, especially against the Pyromaniac. This is like your finisher move that can deal massive damage, but I would just like to warn you that this ability charges for a couple of seconds, and if you are farming solo hard mode bosses, then you might want to stick with her fourth ability. This is because every hit of her sniper will deal massive damage and proportionally it will charge the rage meter of the boss. In most cases, you need always to aim for the weak spots to deal massive damage and down the boss. There is a small window to use your second ability before recovering on its down phase, but what I usually do is just finish the whole fight with her fourth. Speaking of her ultimate, it's called Zenith, and this will allow you to use the unique sniper rifle of Hailey. The damage of the sniper takes 50% of the base damage of your held weapon, and the best weapon I can suggest as a stat stick is a sniper rifle, preferably the Piercing Light, which has massive base damage. Now, some modules that you equip in your weapon also work for Hailey's ultimate ability. First of all, rounds per magazine module is really helpful as it will increase how much rounds you can shoot with your ultimate sniper. In my case, I have 7 rounds of magazine with both expand weapon charge and weapon tuning, enough to down those 3 hard mode bosses that I am constantly farming. Then, Elemental Enhancement Modules also works with Hailey's unique sniper. To further increase your damage, you should always see to it that you equip an elemental module that the boss is weak against. And finally, let's talk about her Cold Fury ability that Glay wishes to have. I say this because the penalty for using this skill is only movement, compared to Glay's buffs, which lowers her movement speed and also shaves a portion of her health. Cold Fury is an insane buff in my opinion, as it gives your firearm penetration, and the best part is the critical hit chance, which can give you 100% critical at max stack. The best part is, you will also receive skill and firearm critical hit damage at max stack. With all these abilities, Hailey can deal insane amount of damage on her second and ultimate abilities. Now here's the build I am using for farming solo hard mode Devourer, Pyromaniac, and Executioner. This gives you 7 rounds of Zenith, which is more than enough to deal insane damage on weak points and kill bosses in less than 10 seconds. Now, skill insight might not be needed by some players as you can go up to 80+% critical hit chance already with your ability in the frontline module, but I am aiming for 100% critical hit chance for both firearm and skill, hence I added more critical chance. Also, based on all my tests, it's better to add skill power in your build to increase both her second and ultimate abilities damage by a ton. You might see this build problematic because of the skill cooldown penalty, but you will never need skill cooldown as you will be killing bosses in under 10 seconds with this build. Just be mindful that it would need precision and you must hit the weak spot of bosses flawlessly with your unique sniper to kill them in less than 10 seconds. You don't exactly need to kill enemies in less than 10 seconds, and it's just some sort of perfectionist stuff, but I like it when I don't have to deal with the boss rage phase, especially when I'm opening a lot of amorphous materials. Also, I would like to say how good Dangerous Ambush it with this build. When the Colossus is down, that triggers immobilization that gives you that insane 49% damage with your ultimate sniper. Use it well in hitting the weak spots of bosses while they are down. This build is superb in solo farming, but it will be a disaster in team composition. You can go with a sniper build, but you must also consider adding survivability to your setup. Also, there's no way I'm using the Slayer external component set, as it only gives mostly shield bonuses, and it would be better if I got high health values, especially when facing Gluttony. Slayer set is great in solo boss farming, but it would be wise to go for health and defense in your external components when using Hailey with a team in void intercept battles. Also, I am trimming a lot of firepower when it comes to team boss battles, as I would need skill cost for the build to maintain the buff of Cold Fury. By the way, her Cold Fury skill does require you to have high MP values to maintain, hence I strongly recommend having an increased MP stat in your external component. In addition, survivability is a must, and you will need both defense and high health values. Just aim for at least 10,000 defense with the help of external components, and stack a lot of health so you will not be a burden in your team while doing public void intercept battles. This build allows me to use Hailey's sniper and dish out good damage with her second ability, but there is still downtime, hence I also use my enduring legacy with 100% critical hit rate from Cold Fury. This allows me to use the sniper and have no downtime in dealing as much damage to the boss as possible. There is another build I would like to share, and this involves nothing in your ability to deal damage and focus on the Cold Fury buff. This somehow makes you a selfish Enzo, but your 100% critical hit rate will be massive that you will be dealing most of the damage in your team. The best part is you don't have to optimize your build for cooldown, skill cost, and survivability and just focus on getting as much health and damage reduction. Then you'll have enough capacity also to put skill cost modules to maintain Cold Fury and add shot focus to increase your firearm attack damage. You can also use Walk the Tightrope with this to improve your gun damage, and this build allows me to deal 123 million damage against Gluttony in a team scenario. So that's all about it. I hope that you have learned something from this video. Now, to answer the question on the thumbnail, I think Hailey is a good boss killing Descendant as well as a good DPS overall because of her Cold Fury buff. However, she can't send Lepic to early retirement as the Descendant can destroy most private hard mode bosses easily. Hailey is a good option and a fun Descendant to play with. While the grind for her parts is tedious, she is worth the time as her gameplay is really fun and useful. Now, if you have the Descendant, then go try out these builds, but before doing so, please help us with the YouTube algorithm by simply liking the video and subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again in our next video. Squad Leader signing off.